Now I know the McLaren range of street cars is quite confusing. They have Special Series, Sports Series and Asparagus Series and Lord knows what else. What you need to know is the baby car, the 570, on which the 600LT that I'm in now is based, is quite different to the others in that it has a conventional suspension system. It has struts, springs, dampers, nothing cross-linked or hydraulic or clever. It's an analogue, quite simple car compared to the others. And do you know what? That does give it certain advantages because it feels more conventional. I've just got in this car and immediately I have a sense of connection in it that I don't have in the bigger cars. I love the 720, but it's a bit aloof. It's a bit like having a meal with a really clever mate and having to spend 10 minutes sort of working out where his brain's at before you can have a conversation. In the 600LT, you just get in and have a natter. So what have we got? We've got about 30 more horsepower than a standard car, a stiffer, pokier chassis, some aero modifications, and some exhaust that exit a bit higher on the old arse. It's not fundamentally different, it's just a sort of reworking of the core 570 bits. First things first, driving position is just spot on. The seat itself, well, I'm sure you can play with the padding a bit. These are Senna-esque, very sparsely padded carbon buckets, and I've got too much right behind my shoulder blades, which is maybe down to me, I don't know. Seats are quite a personal thing, aren't they? This one, not perfect. Driving position, amazing. I love the way you can get the wheel right back onto your chest. I'm low, and in typical McLaren style, I've got this lovely low scuttle, which means I can see right down, almost like I can see onto the tops of the front wheels. It's not intimidating. Engine? Well, where are we at with the engine? These McLaren turbocharged V8s, I think they get away with being quite laggy. People don't seem to criticise them, but this is a really quite a laggy engine. If you jump out of a Porsche or Ferrari turbocharged engine from 2018, they're more immediate. This thing builds and builds. That adds some excitement, but certainly mid-corner, it makes it much more difficult to use the motor to adjust the line. Brakes, superb, absolutely superb. But there's something about this car that is, I think, really special. It's a fun device. It wants to move around a bit. Ultimate grip, it's pretty high, but it's not crazy grippy. And when it does move into a bit of a slide, the progression is helpful. It's quite slow and easy. It's much more friendly than you'd expect of a mid-engine car. The steering is bang on. McLaren has a big advantage over Ferrari in the steering department now. This thing is wriggling around in my hands. Fantastic. It's like having an electric eel on speed, working between my fingertips. Did I just say that? I could get into private eye, couldn't it? But if I could define this car through one area of its performance, it would be that final moment of turning into a low or medium speed bend. Here we are now. I turn the wheel, and just as I release the brake, the front of the car scoots round. The understeer's gone. You've got this lovely Lotus-like independent feel across all four wheels. Remember, no locking differential. That's where it really helps. And the car just turns. It feels agile. I drove a Senna recently. It wouldn't do that. I think this is a more playful car than a Senna. And then for me, on a circuit, playfulness is everything. I'm not here chasing lap times. I'd take it over the big one. I just think it's really fun to drive. I mean, it's just beginning to spit with rain here, which doesn't fit with the exterior shots, I know. So you have to trust me. It is magnificent fun, this thing. What do you think of the way it looks? I think it's a bit fussy on the outside. I don't mind the tailpipes, they're okay, but the add-ons are a bit add-on-y, aren't they?
I'm not sure about this whole LT naming strategy. Long-tail meant something with the original F1 because it was miles longer, but the 600LT is, wait for it, 7.4 centimetres longer than a 570S. Call it nearly a Snickers bar. Immodest is the kindest way to describe it. The extra 30 horsepower comes from a new cam and a remap. Everything in the chassis is new and lighter. There are some 720 bits, the springs and dampers are firmer than the standard car, and the track is a little bit wider. Overall, the car is 96 kilograms lighter. It's a less comprehensive makeover than the 675LT, but then the car on which it's based is miles better. Oh, and this baby track McLaren reminds us that Woking is in a different world to all other sports car makers in terms of raw acceleration. 0 to 62, 2.9 seconds, 0 to 124 in 8.2 seconds, and 204 miles an hour flat out.
Okay, it's not as fast as a GT2 RS, but I don't really care. It's still fast enough that if you stick a mate in the passenger seat, they'll probably need new undercrackers afterwards. And that's the measurement by which we should all judge these cars. It's perfectly fast enough. 600 horsepower, dampers in full hard, you're on your own. There's not much leeway here. Treat that throttle like a bloody hornet's nest. It's the boost. When the boost arrives, the thing just doesn't want to hang on, really. Oh yeah, you gotta be careful through there. When you get the understeer on, don't try and chase it and get the armful of oversteer, because then you're too far gone. The wheel's in the wrong direction. Oh, it's a bit lively around here. Oh, you can always tell when you're thinking because you're not talking so much. I feel really connected to the car though, even though the conditions are terrible. I feel like I'm connected to the car, and that gives me confidence. That's terrible. That's horrible. Yeah, okay. The really low speed hairpins without the diff in the wet, no thanks. But the rest of it, the car just feels actually very good. Very, very good. Yeah, they've nailed it with this. Strange, isn't it? I'm more interested in this than I am the super duper £1 million 800 horsepower things. I think this is the sweet spot for McLaren track cars.